Okay, so today is the day, trying to do the downpipe install. Put some PB Blaster on last night on these bolts and nuts, and there's going to be 5 of them. Here you can see 1, 2, 3. There's another one here, 4. And 1 on the other side, 5. So that's up top. Then I'm going to jack up the car, get underneath, and see what else needs to be taken off under there. Downpipe install, 2005 WRX. Okay, so I got all the turbo to downpipe bolts off. Here's the heat shield. These are looking pretty black here. I don't know if there was a leak under there, exhaust leak, but they're 14 millimeter. I used 2 14 millimeter wrenches and this one 14 millimeter ratchet socket. Combination of all those to get these off from the top. Now I'm going to jack the car up and see what's underneath. Okay, so I'm under the car now. And already, I guess this downpipe has been off once before, because if it will focus, there's no nut in this little area here, the downpipe mount. And let's see, I'm gonna have to take off the O2 sensor. I think I'll do that with the downpipe itself. This is the connection here. Take off that O2 sensor connection, and looks like there's an oil leak back here, but take that off, cut this zip tie that's got it zip tied up here. I can re-zip tie that at the end. You got to keep it away from the exhaust, otherwise it'll burn that through. So yeah, and then so we have these 2 nuts right here on the cat back section. Hopefully those will come off. They're looking pretty rusted. But I'm going to disconnect those 2 and the O2 sensor, and see if I can get this downpipe out. And before I get out from under here, I just discovered it looks like there's 1 more nut for the downpipe for a bracket there. It's on this lower heat shield. I'm gonna see how I can get that off. And so that, and then these 2 bolts, and hopefully the whole downpipe will be able to lift off of this bracket and come down. Okay, so I discovered there was another screw here. It ends up being a 10. It's on the lower heat shield bracket here. I'm trying to get that off, and then if you can just see down below, that's the nut I saw from down below. I'm gonna have to try to get that off as well. So I had to lower the car back down. So those 2 I got to get off before I can get back under there. Well, it turned out being easier coming from the front of the car to get to this bolt. It was right here. It was another 14, and this heat shield is kind of rotten. So anyway, that is that. Probably will not be reusing that bolt except to plug the hole. And everything is now off from the front. Just got to get those 2 bolts at the back down there and the O2 sensor unplugged, and then we should be able to have this stock downpipe out. Okay, so here's the HKS next to the stock downpipe. I ended up having to cut off these 2 bolts because they were too rusted to fit any particular size wrench. And for comparison, the flat flange, you can see that's the stock downpipe. This is the HKS. They look pretty similar. Just the stock size, and then the HKS is going to be 3-inch. So I'm going to take off the O2 sensor and reinstall. I'll be back. Okay, so just for reference, measuring the actual inlet hole here is 2.5 inches. And then, let's go this way. And then the outlet is more like 2 3/4 inches. So not quite a 3-inch, but on your stock downpipe, it's a 2-inch outlet. And stock inlet is just over 2 inches. Not quite 2.5, maybe 2 1/4. So there's going to be a little extra flow. 2.5 down to 2 3/4. The O2 sensor does not want to come out right now, so I'm going to have to run out and get a O2 sensor socket or some wrench, maybe a 22-inch wrench to try to get that off. That's what's next. Okay, so I want to see if there's any weight savings. I got the O2 sensor out. Yeah! And let's see. I weigh 195.8 with the stock downpipe. And with the HKS, 185. So there's a 10-pound savings. Every little bit counts. Okay, so I ran into a little bit of difficulty here trying to bolt up the exhaust with the adapters in it. The bolts that came with both the adapter and the bolts that came with the downpipe were both too short. So I had to run out to Home Depot. I got these 3/8, which are 14 millimeter, 3/8 bolts, 2.5 inches, and these should do the trick to get me through. And then I can put everything back together. And I'm gonna upgrade to my stage 2 on the access port. Looking for the stage 2 91 octane tune. That's what I'm gonna do. Let's see. Stage 2 91. Please connect the white or blue initialize mode connector. The other end of the connector can be found under the driver's side dash. Okay, so gonna start it up. First start. down and check for leaks. So far so good. Okay, so this is the final look. I put the heat shield back on, or the heat shield bracket, just to make sure it kind of looks stockish. And now I'm gonna do a cold start, or well, actually a warm start now. Warm start. Might be slightly louder, but not as loud as I was expecting. This is the stock muffler. If you like the video, like and subscribe. Maybe share it with someone if you enjoyed the content. HKS install the HKS flat flange downpipe 2005 WRX, idling down, stock catback. This is just a test ride. Everything seems to be working fine. I'm at 192, 957. Looks like it's burning off all of the PV blaster that I sprayed on the turbo there. So I'm gonna check that out. But so far, the car's working okay. I've only boosted to 7.8 psi. Just taking it easy. Going down the road.